Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Gashi's Command TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Raila Amolo Odinga is demanding that the dialogue should take the form of that of 2008 that was led by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, and he has put William Samoei Ruto in a fix. So if we thought that the demonstrations were over, we look like we are on a commercial break. We look like that we are likely to go back to the demonstrations. He has demanded that the servers must be audited and that chapter must be concluded and closed after it has been verified that Ruto or Raila won the elections. So that is one of the demands that he has put forward to Kenya Kwanza government. Again, he has said that the price of commodities must come down. Anasema wazi kwamba bei ya uga kilo mbili iwe shilingi 100. Vile vile amesema bei ya stima lazima ishuke, bei ya petroli lazima ishuke, and the school fees must be reduced to an affordable levels. Because what we have is that the parents are being overtaxed. They are actually paying charges that are not supposed to be paid. And these are the same parents who are being exploited by paying heavily on electricity, water, and everything. So Raila Amolo Odinga is saying that these things must be done in the shortest time possible because we are like in a crisis. Again, he's also saying that the other thing that William Samoei Ruto talked about is the reconstitution of IEBC. And he said that William Samoei Ruto was economical with the truth and did not talk about false things. And this one is very, very interesting if you ask me. Because when you look at William Samoei Ruto, he has been put in a situation between two sedimentary rocks, and he is in a fix, all said and done. Again, when you look at this situation, it brings a lot of problems to the dialogue, national dialogue, that was to start anytime the two parties were ready, preferably this week. But I want to show you that this national dialogue is something that is putting Kenya Kwanza in a very difficult situation. And Raila has come out as a very shrewd politician. And what we can say is that William Samoei Ruto has fallen into the trap of Raila Amolo Odinga. When Raila Amolo Odinga called off the mass demonstrations, when he called off the mass actions, watu wengi walimlaumu kwa sababu waliona ni kana kwamba hakuwa anajua vile ambavyo anafanya. But now, the shrewdness in this man, Raila Agwabo, is coming out very clearly that he wanted to fix William Samoei Ruto. First, William Samoei Ruto to accept that we need to have national dialogue, and Raila would call off the demonstrations. Then they would sit down, and then these are things that would be addressed. So he's going to set the agenda. And if you've been listening to Kenya Kwanza guys, I was watching Cleophas Malala on NTV and many other guys in other stations and maybe the social media. Ni watu ambao wana hasira sana, ni watu ambao wamekasirishwa sana na msimamo huu wa Raila Amolo Odinga. Ni watu ambao wamemshutumu kabisa Raila Amolo Odinga wakisema kwamba he is changing the goalpost, and they didn't know that their boss was actually carpeted deliberately by Raila Amolo Odinga. So the problem here is that the government will come out as the villain. Because now, Raila Amolo Odinga is telling these people to lower the cost of living, to lower the price of commodities, bring the cost of Uga to Kenya shilling 100. But the big question is, do you think the government is going to accept this? How is the government going to respond? Hata wewe kama ungekuwa Ruto ungeambia watu vipi? And kwanza umekubali kuongea, umekubali kuna shida, umekubali kuna tatizo, umekubali kuna changamoto, umekubali wananchi wanaumia. Do you think they are going to continue buying zile hadithi za paukwa pakawa za bolea, fertilizer, that you have subsidized fertilizers? Do you think they are going to buy those narratives? I don't think the voters are going to continue buying those narratives, because they want William Samoei Ruto to respond instantly, because they believe that he can be able to remove some of the taxes, like the fuel taxes, because we have realized that more than 50% of the cost of electricity goes to taxes, and more than 50% of the fuel price go to taxes. So like now we are buying fuel at Kenya shilling, petrol is selling at Kenya shilling 180 per liter. So that means more than 90 bob goes to the government. Huo ni ukweli wa mambo. Kwa hivyo serikali inaweza kufanya mambo haya, inaweza kutimiza na kuwapunguzia wananchi wa kawaida hii gharama kubwa ambayo imewatatiza wananchi na kuwalemaza. So how is the government going to respond? So we can only wait. That's why I'm saying that the government has been put on a fix. In a catch-22 situation between two sedimentary rocks, it is very, very deliberate that Raila Amolo Odinga is doing this very, very much deliberate. Again, the other thing is that the government can only act in a way that is going to fix the problem. Because if it is going to act, it's going to behave in a way that doesn't bring the cost of goods and services down, then kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba serikali itakuwa imetokeza kama serikali ambayo ni ya kumdhulumu mwananchi wa kawaida. Again, when you look at this government, moja ambalo linajitokeza ni kwamba when I was reading this statement by Raila Amolo Odinga, something also came to my mind, that the government definitely will come out as dishonest, especially even William Samoei Ruto, because Raila Amolo Odinga is saying that they had agreed on things to talk about, but now when the president addressed the nation, he did not talk about the cost of living, he did not address the issue of the cost of commodities, he did not address the issue of servers. Now, what they raised is that people started asking questions right away wakati ambapo rais alitoa hotuba yake. Now, another thing that when you listen to Raila Amolo Odinga, most of the time he referred to William Samoei Ruto as Mr. Ruto. And this one tells you that he doesn't recognize him as his president. He doesn't recognize him as the president of the Republic of Kenya. Again, when you look at this situation where now, you know, William Samoei Ruto ukiangalia utaona kwamba jambo moja ambalo linajitokeza wazi wazi ni kwamba utaona serikali itajitokeza kama serikali ambayo inafikiria tu mambo ya 2027, because according to the president, the issue that are going to be addressed by the bipartisan dialogue committee and it's only about the elections 2027. Kwa serikali inajitokeza kama serikali ambayo inafikiria tu kuhusu power and nothing but raw power, and this is not organizing well with the common mwananchi. Mwananchi wa kawaida hafurahishwi na jambo hili kwa sababu wanaona yeye ameachwa na serikali haijali na vile ambavyo inamfanyia mwananchi wa kawaida. Again, when you look at this situation, or you ask yourself whether William Samoei Ruto is going to pronounce himself, whether he's going to talk about the cost of living. Again, when you look at all this, kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga is coming out very clearly that Kenya Kwanza government is not sincere, because they are trying to portray him as somebody who is super hungry, that he is looking for power through the back door. ati wanazungumzia, mara nyingi wanazungumzia mambo ya handshake. And what is handshake, by the way? Ni through zile salamu za kusalimiana. Because when you look at Kenya Kwanza, the way they are interpreting the handshake is like you are being co-opted to be in government. It's like forming a government of national unity. It's like forming a coalition government, something like that. But Raila has put it very clearly that what Kenya Kwanza is saying is trying to use propaganda to try to tell people what Azimio is not saying. Azimio is not interested with the handshake. It's not even interested in forming the government with William Samoei Ruto. And none other than Raila Amolo Odinga said that he's not even eager to shake the hand of Rigathi Gachagua. Amesema hivyo yeye mwenyewe. So that narrative of trying to divert the attention, I think it is the right time that it should come to an end. And what is happening here is that people are left to be the judges now. You and me are the one who is going to judge William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, and we are going to decide who is genuine, who has the interests of Kenyans at heart. What is so difficult for the government to lower the cost of food stuff? What is so hard for the government to remove some of the taxes in electricity? Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba tutaweka katika mizani, tuone ikiwa kweli wanajali maslahi ya mwananchi wa kawaida. So the people will remain the judge. Again, the issue of trusts come to play here. Because when you look at the government, can you really trust the government? That's the question that many people will start asking themselves. And when you look at the government, between the government and Kenya, that is Kenya Kwanza, and Azimio, whom can you trust? Whom can you trust? Ni jambo ambalo litajitokeza wazi wazi. And this is a test. And if the perception will be that Kenya Kwanza is not trustworthy, if it fails the exam of trust, it will start losing the elections by day one, even before you go to 2027 general elections. But the big questions that we should ask ourselves is that, are we going back to the trenches? Because I believe that is where we are headed to. I believe it's just a matter of time. That's why I was asking you whether we are on a commercial break. Because I don't see Kenya Kwanza giving in. I don't see Raila Amolo Odinga changing his stand. Because with Mother Karua there, with the Steve Kalonzo Musyoka there, with people who are very firm, akina Orego wakiwa pale, sioni Azimio ikibadilisha msimamo wake. And do you think the government is going to budge? So that's why I'm saying that we are likely to go back to the trenches. And this also will put the country in a very serious problem, a very serious crisis. Because what we have, even before we go to 2027, this country will be unstable. And an unstable country is cause for alarm to the neighboring nations, to the community of nations. Watu watajiuliza maswali mengi kuhusu kile ambacho kitaendelea hapa. There is also the risk of violence. Violence can occur in this country because we have two antagonists. Na tunaona kwamba hakuna upande ambao utakuwa umeridhika. When you look at the tone, when you listen to the tone of Kenya Kwanza and the tone of Azimio, you see, utaona kuna hasira nyingi sana katika pande zote mbili. Kwamba wanazimio wanafikiri, wanasema kwamba the government is not genuine, the government is failing this nation, the government is a illegitimate government. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho kinaweza kutokea ni kwamba the country, the situation is likely to be very, very volatile this time round. Again, we may end up dividing this country. If you don't get a good solution, if the national dialogue fails, I can tell you, things will be very difficult. Even holding the nation together will be a hurricane task. Itakuwa ni jambo gumu sana na si jambo ambalo tungetaka kuliona. Again, history as a judge will judge Kenya Kwanza harshly. And some of these guys who are talking very, they can say anything, especially those in Kenya Kwanza. Utaona kwamba when the history of this nation will be written, I don't think they'll get even a chapter. They not even appear on the footnote. Because the people who appear are people like William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, who will occupy a big chapter. But some of these guys who are talking, even the footnote, they will not be there. I think the only person who will be on the footnote is Rigathi Gachagua. But all the other guys, I think history will not even remember them. I don't know what you think, but I think Raila Amolo Odinga has pulled a fast one and has fixed the government. And the ball is now on Kenya Kwanza. How things unfold, only time will tell. This is Raila'S Command TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Kindly remember to subscribe to our channel if you have not. And please like this video. And may you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.